And my question is, what if it's in an environment that you can't flee? Let's say, you know that you have a problem with alcohol, and then you have told yourself, maybe you've gone through it and said you're not going to drink again. But then you happen to have this lucrative job in a brewing company, and that's the job that fits your family. And every day you
In
have
a
to,
in a way.
in a brewing company, in a place that makes whatever the alcohol, beer, and breweries, and then you have to show up for work. And in that case, you can't resign. Of course, there's no other job. This is the job that you have to do. So as a coach, you've talked about tapping, but you keep saying flee. How can you survive in that environment? Let's even take it from alcohol to probably in a working space where probably a lady is working with a boss and then there's some sort of attraction, and that is her job. And you cannot flee in that case. And this guy had talked about no, the lust. He says, while lust is a deliberate act of will, he's saying that the difference between physical attraction or sexual attraction, and that there's a difference, that we are like sexual beings, and that is good. Attraction and arousal are natural and spontaneous, but it is when it goes all the way to lust. And I realized that Joseph in the Bible, he could flee, and after a certain point, but he still had to work with the Oga's wife, and that's what puts him in trouble. So if somebody finds themselves in that situation, in an environment that your livelihood depends on that place, and you just have to be there, but then you get in the morning and you're tempted. I think we can also use this, what you're going to advise us, for our teenage children who are in school, and of course, they are getting tempted by what they see. How can you, what practical steps now can you keep to be on that path that will not take you to that unhealthy desire and you actually fall into that temptation?
Honestly, if I'm going to be very honest with you, right? If you have an alcohol problem and you work in an alcohol company, you hang around people that drink heavily, honestly, proximity, proximity intensifies desire and feelings. So you know that you're up against a Herculean task. So the only thing that can save you is the grace of God. That's all. And you use the example of Joseph, right? I mean, Joseph couldn't leave that space. But every time Potiphar's wife was coming for him, till the day that the thing will catch you. So the thing caught her, the aggro caught her, and she tore his clothes. But it was the grace of God that removed him from that environment. If he stayed in that environment, he would be in big trouble. You know how, the stone cutter. The stone cutter has a chisel, he has a hammer. And each day, maybe it's 5,000 blows he hits on that piece of rock. So day one, 5,000 blows. Day two, 5,000 blows. And he keeps hitting it for 3 months. And then one day, after the third month, right, he hits the blow and the rock splits. It's not that last blow that split the rock, it's each day. And the challenge with proximity is that it lowers your defenses. It lowers your resolve. It lowers your ability, your resistance gradually. Even as you pray, even as you fast, even as you tap, even as you know, proximity intensifies the feelings and the desires. So you are going to have to make that tough decision. You are going to have to make that tough decision to relocate yourself from that environment, because everything is working against you. So all that can save you there, you will pray. You will live a fasted life. You will, you will continue to tackle. You will continue to anchor. For the day they do, we do you. Only God can save you. I yield the mic.
All right, thank you, Mama Kwe.
Thank you very much, CC. Yes, the question I want to ask is from chapter 27. I want to ask it, how important is it to have a support system in place when we are trying to resist temptation? He said we should, when we keep things in secret, that's when they become a problem. So how important, he talked about having a system in place, you'll be able to talk to somebody and no more becomes a big deal in your life. So how important is it to have a support system when we're trying to resist some temptations in our lives?
Yeah, I often say that, sin thrives in secrecy. Sin thrives in secrecy. And, having an accountability system is very, very key. But make sure that the accountability system is in closer proximity to you than the system that is trying to draw you in. So, for example, in that office that you're working in, right, you surround yourself with 2 or 3 people that will hold you accountable, that are always in the office with you. When, they call for, we're going to the pub, right? And you would already have pre-agreed that, that I have an alcohol problem, I'm an alcoholic.